So I love reading, and I just came back to a book that started like this big change in my life, that kind of changed my life in a lot of ways. And it's this book here, Sword in the Storm by David Gemmell. It sounds weird to say, but I really love like those kind of like fantasy, medieval kind of style books. You know, think Lord of the Rings, but maybe a bit more philosophical and a bit more gritty. And I think that I've actually learned a lot more from reading David Gemmell's books than I have from anything else in my life. But first, I just want to say that I don't really like how reading's become trendy. To be honest, I've always loved reading. I've always read throughout my life. It's something I've always come back to. It's been the biggest part of my life since I was a kid. If I'm to be honest, like it's been the only thing that's stuck through my whole life that I've continued to this day. And I had a lot of periods where I wouldn't read fiction because I thought that, it's kind of just for kids, it's like this fantasy, it's this escape from reality. And that's one way to see it, but if it's something that you enjoy doing and it's something that doesn't really have any downsides, then what's the problem with it? And I kind of like that fiction's becoming a bit more popular now. Like I haven't read Dune, I don't think I've read Lord of the Rings, I've watched the movies, but like I just read whatever books I liked, and they were these like more off-brand, like not many people know this book, not many people know this author, but reading this book, I felt connected to somebody, and I hadn't got that in real life very often at all. And reading this book, it felt like someone that had been in my position had wrote this book and wrote these books, wrote all of the books that he's read. Like I feel like I have a strong connection to David Gemmell, even though he passed away. I know nothing about him. Well, I don't know nothing about him. I know little bits about him, but it's crazy how through a book you can get to know someone better than you do in person, you do over online text or just seeing someone day to day. Like I feel more connected to him than I do to most of my friends, to be honest. And the things that I love about his books are that they're true. All of his characters have flaws, they have weaknesses. Like when you read Harry Potter, it's like, oh, of course he's going to win. He's Harry Potter, whatever, he's the chosen one. And he doesn't really have too many difficulties or adversities that he has to come through. Whereas in this book, the main character, he's flawed. He's impulsive, he's angry, he makes mistakes. And his mistakes cost him a lot. And I just started the second book, and his mistakes, well, I've read these books like 4 times, and I just keep coming back to them because I just love them so much and nothing can compare to it. But I just started reading this, and his mistake leads to this next book. And David Gemmell's style of writing is very short and snappy. It's so easy to read. Like, you're never not entertained. Like you immediately read it and you're just hooked into the story. He doesn't elaborate on things too much. He has this perfect mastery of distilling words to what exactly they need to be. He doesn't say anything more, anything less. And even though this book is small, the writing's fairly big. It's only a 500-page book, 479, 8, and you read the whole story of this guy and you feel like you know him. You feel like you really know him. And just the quotes from the book are just amazing. Like I wanted to read them out, but I feel like it feels kind of cringe to read out these quotes and like be fanboying over it, like, I didn't want to do that and kind of ruin it because I think it's an experience that you have to have for yourself if you want to read it. But, I used to think that fiction books were bad, as I was saying at the start, that I had to read non-fiction because they were the ones that were productive. I had to read them, I had to learn more, I had to become smarter. But I've learned more from reading fiction because you learn subtle indications, you read through people's stories, see their mistakes from a third perspective, and you see how these people are struggling, you see them go through things that you've been through, and then you can relate it to in your own life. and you see values instilled in these books that you can relate to and you can look up to as well. And the thing that I love about him is that with his flawed characters that feel real, you know, even though like the good always wins, that's a big component in his books, but it feels like the evil sometimes is more relatable, or sometimes it's more real. Sometimes it's really emphasized and exaggerated a little bit, but at the core, his characters have this deep sense of value for caring for one another and doing the right thing regardless of how they feel. Like if there's someone that's in trouble and they need help, then it's the right thing to step up and do that, even if you end up dying in the course of that, which is a big heroic kind of noble kind of thing to do. Yeah, his books are really about heart. Like, even if you struggle, even if you make mistakes, how do you keep going? How do you continue on in life? Because it's very easy, like his characters go through like depression or like just struggling to do things and do the right things, and they make big mistakes, and then that costs them a lot. And you know, reading that's like, how do you continue on from doing that? What makes you keep going, and what are you going to do? Like, you can't change the past. The present is all there is. That's the big component in these books. You can't change the past. You can't change the future. All you can do is what you can do now in the present moment. That's all that you have. And he's a big believer in the heart and doing the right thing. And you know in your heart, like, there's a big difference between knowing something, reading non-fiction, and actually believing and doing the right thing in the right moment. Like, we can say like, oh, you know, this thing is bad and this thing is good, but in context, you know, those things become really grey, and there's this grey area. And I think one of his most favourite characters, Druss from The Legend, he's just this black and white character, and you know exactly what he's going to do and say, because he just has this strict values that he's going to stick to. And even though that this is in a different time, you know, like it's based on a lot of medieval kind of fantasy stuff, and you know, it is fantasy when you think about it. We can relate that to our own lives still, into our own daily decisions and how the world is working at the moment. And he does touch on some modern kind of things, but mostly it's about tribespeople, and well, this one's about tribespeople and technology and the prices of it and the prices of power. That's a big component of it as well. But even like, I don't think there's anything wrong with reading a fantasy book and enjoying it, because you're tapping into something that's hard to define. Like, the sense of connection that I feel to the author is, you can't really put it into words, and it doesn't make sense. I've never met this person, he's dead. He's just wrote these books, he's wrote these words, but through that I'm connecting to him through this link, because his unconscious has come out when he's written these books, and it's come out in all of these characters and all of these plots and twists, and all of his interests have subtly come out through here, and through them, like, I've connected to him. And reading these books, reading fiction, is just a nice way to kind of end the day. It's just a nice way to spend your time getting lost in a world, because if we don't have fiction books and we live in reality, then it can become really draining. It can become really heavy, because there's not a lot of hope in the world. There's not a lot of, you know, life. Modern life is pretty dreary. It's pretty day-to-day, mundane kind of stuff, and it's hard to like keep having hope and keep having faith in doing the right thing and being a good person and sticking to your values. But when you read fiction, it gives you hope again, because you see these people struggling in similar ways, and then they win and they triumph, and you see their successes and their struggles, and you go through it with them. And that gives me hope, you know, for myself in my life, because without these books, I may not have had the same hope. I may not have had the same beliefs. I may not have had as high values for myself and for the world as well. And yeah, I think an important thing about reading is that you just got to read what you like and read what you're drawn to. If you don't like reading, just don't read. You don't have to read. Like, reading isn't this performative hobby that you have to do because it's good for you, or because, you know, everybody says you have to read this book. Like I said, I haven't read Dune, I haven't read Lord of the Rings, but I've just found the authors that I like to read, and I've connected through that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with reading fiction books and enjoying it. Yeah. So I think that's basically what I wanted to say. I'm not sure if this is even a good video. Like, I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. I'd love for these to turn into movies. Like, that's one of my dreams, to have this turn into a TV series, a movie, an anime, anything. Like, that'd be one of my biggest dreams in my life. Like, if I got that done in my life, I would happily die. Like, that would be probably one of my biggest goals in life, is to have them be a part of turning them into some sort of film or media for people to consume. So yeah, thank you for kind of listening to my kind of rant about this kind of stuff. It wasn't really well planned, it wasn't really well thought of, but I just needed a video to come out because, you know, it's already Friday night. I realized that I didn't have a video for Saturday. But sometimes not having a video idea is a good thing. Anyway, I've got to work out, do a short for working out. I'm going to do some music stuff as well, and then, to be honest, I'm probably going to play some video games, maybe some FIFA, or I've been playing Fortnite again, which is interesting because a lot of people wouldn't think that about me. Like, I seem like this calm kind of person, but I just love I love just the skill of it, I guess, and it's just funny to play with these people. But Fortnite people, I haven't talked to them a whole lot, but when I've heard them talk, most of them have been pretty good people. Like, FIFA's a really toxic kind of online community. Sorry, this is going into another rant about video game stuff. But yeah, I've just been enjoying playing Fortnite, and even though, like, people say, oh, it's like kiddie, it's like this hyper-stimulating, high dopamine kind of thing, I don't really care, because I'm just enjoying playing it. And yeah, at the start I got addicted to it, and I was playing it all day, every day for like 3 or 4 days, but now I'm just like, I can play it for a couple hours and be totally fine. Like, yesterday I was playing it for a few hours. I was feeling really drained after soccer. I just wanted to like sit down and play video games. And so that's what I did. I just played Fortnite for a couple hours, and then after I finished, I just wrote a song, and it was a really nice song, and maybe that song wouldn't have happened if I hadn't played Fortnite. Like, you can't label these things as good as bad, and I think the main important thing is that you're living life the way that you want to, and you're doing the things that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be like a conscious kind of thing. It's just, I find that in my life at the moment, I'm just gravitating towards whatever feels right. Like, I'm doing whatever I basically feel like in the moment, and it feels natural. And you would say, oh, but that's really unproductive. Like, you've got to be really strict on yourself. You've got to be disciplined, otherwise you're going to fall off. And I disagree, because I used to think that, I used to believe that, but that was based in mistrust in myself, in my mind and my unconscious. And now I allow it. Like, I have these habits, and maybe they're not the best habits, but I just allow them to come, and they don't have as much sway over me. They don't have as much power over me. I'm still able to record videos. I'm still able to write music. I'm still able to cook. I'm sticking to my workouts. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to cope by saying this and adding this to the video, but I think I should just end it there. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.